You're now listening to The Festival of Football, presented by Billy Harvey and Henry Barrett.
But let's get on to what can I say? The protest from Man United fans. We obviously spoke about Arsenal fans' protest before and about breaking COVID rules. Obviously, COVID rules are less now, but still, Man United fans did break them on the weekend. Me personally, I agree that they should protest. I agree that, if you believe strongly about something in the world, that you should be able to have the freedom to protest. But what what crossed the line for me was when they broke into the stadium, right? So that's one law they've already broke. They broke COVID laws. That's another law they broke. They've thrown things. I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but I saw the video of Jamie Carragher speaking to I don't know if it's a steward or a police officer that was in the stadium, and he had a massive gash all the way down his face where
Mhm.
someone threw something at him. Now, obviously, it's not all Man United fans. Let's just get that out there. And no matter what you do, West Ham fans, Tottenham fans, if you get 200 people, you're going to have 50 people that are going to be dickheads. It's the walk of life. It's what everyone does. There's bad in everything. Um, and there, that was my big gripe with it. Um, Man United fans did an amazing thing. They got the biggest game in football called off, but they did it in the wrong way. They did the protest in the right way, but it got called off because of the wrong things, because of the violence. And instead of it being Man United fans protesting, got the game called off, well done for them, like Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher was trying to do. All Sky, you saw what Sky did. It gave them the thing that they wanted to get back on the broadcaster side and get back on the Premier League side by saying all the violence. And that took away from all the good things the Man United fans did because of the violence. So that's all you see now on the news. Man United fans turning over cars, Man United fans throwing flares at people, throwing glass bottles at people. Like, why do it? Why ruin this movement? Because that was such a powerful thing that the fans did by getting the game called off. But by then doing the violence, it makes it look like the violence got the game called off. So what is the point? Why do it?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I think protesting is fine. I don't have any issue with protesting in itself, but I think doing it now, number one, it's the wrong time because not that the media report it in the way that it should be reported. They've broken like massively broken COVID restrictions. You've had people sitting at home for a year. You've had people lost loved ones because of the virus, and now we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Who's to say there wasn't the infection rates in Manchester in 2 weeks' time are not going to be skyrocketing, and then Manchester is set back months and
Mm.
months of good work they've already done. And I just feel like the media doesn't present that. It presents them as like, oh, Man United fans got the game cancelled against Liverpool. And like you said, obviously there was all the violence to it as well, which I don't condone. I think is pointless. But then you've got to look at the reason for protesting. The reason for protesting is they want the Glazers out, and they haven't liked them. A lot of Man United fans haven't liked them since they bought the club. But what they have to realise is your protests are going to do nothing. You're not going to achieve your aim of getting them out. They're not going to sell the club. You're still going to go to the Manchester United store and buy merchandise. You're still going to go to the games and buy tickets. Where do you think that money goes to? It goes straight into their pockets. So, and there are a lot of United fans that, don't buy the merchandise and they buy the yellow and green kit to, show their support of getting them out, which is fair enough. But
That's the way to do it.
yeah, but what you got to realize is Man United make most of their money from overseas, and overseas
Yeah,
fans will still buy the merchandise. They don't care who
this is
owns the
it.
club. They they
But
they,
mate,
they couldn't care
you know
less.
what the board do? You know what the board have done? And Man United fans don't like them, but what they've done is they're good businessmen.
Yeah.
They've so what they do is they've gone to every country and they have got brand deals for individual country. So in China, the kit's got a different sponsor on it than it has in England because it brands to the China market. Then you go to another country, it's got a brand that's suited to that market. They're
Mhm.
smart businessmen. They know what they're doing. They've set Man United into a financial juggernaut, right? They've built them up into this franchise. They are a franchise.
Mhm.
They don't care about the football side.
Nope.
And why should they? Because they are making money doing this. And the only way you're going to get rid of them is if you have a multi billionaire that comes in and offers them unthinkable money, 15 billion, something like that, where they can say, do you know what, we'll take that 15 billion because we would have only made 15 billion over like 12 years or whatever it is. I don't know the figures, but it's like the same with Arsenal. This guy's going to come in and he's going to be better for Arsenal, and as a football fan, you want him to come in and help Arsenal. But they're not going to accept 1.8 billion because they're going to make that in like a year or so, or doing whatever they're doing, because they're all American businessmen are smart. They're not stupid idiots. And they don't care about football. They care about money. And no matter what the fans do, it's not going to happen. Like you look at it on our level for West Ham, we don't like the owners. We've had this great season, so it's took the pressure off the owners. But we don't like them. Man, being owned by a dildo shop owner, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But at the end of the day, he's a fan. They're apparently both fans. I know it's going to happen. They don't want to sell, so eventually they can't. West Ham board can't sell because getting the Olympic Stadium rent cheap. They can't sell until I think it's 2022, something like that. But I've got a feeling he's going to pass it down to his son.
Yeah, and
Who,
I think
to be fair, he's done well with the West Ham women's, but I don't know. But
the thing is, with the Man United, you got to look at who in the world can buy Man United. So you get the Glazers out. In an ideal world for most Man United fans, they want the Glazers out. Fine. Let's have a look at who can buy the club. Who realistically would buy it? There was talks before of a crown prince from Saudi Arabia. So you're telling me that you'd rather have someone who comes from a country where women are third, fourth class citizens. They've only just been allowed to, be able to drive, and you would have his money, but you don't want the Glazers' money because they put debt on your club. Like, what does that say
yeah,
about you? What does that say about your morals? Like, are you going to
mate,
protest against him if they
but
bring in
but you know
this?
what it is, Bill? People don't realize it's like I'd say only 10% of the Man United fans actually realize what they're talking about.
They
It's like
don't.
most football fans. Most football fans are fickle, and what they'll do is they'll say something without even actually thinking about it. 9 times out of 10, there's probably something that I've said when I've said something just off the cuff. Maybe that Eric Cantona comment that I made.
Yep.
People are thinking, "What a twat! What a twat!" But
Yep.
it's something people do. You just say things and you don't actually look and think about whatever, and at the end of the day, that's what they're doing. They're not actually thinking about the good things. How much money did they spend on Pogba? How much money did they spend on Bruno Fernandes? How much money have they thrown at Pogba to keep him there?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
all this, they don't see the benefits because they've not done it on the pitch. If Man United were winning the league every year, they won't give a shit about the Glazers. They won't give a crap about them. They'll be like, yeah, it's fine. Keep doing what you're doing. The problem is they're not doing it, and they're looking over the road. Man City are winning the league.
mm-hmm.
Then God forbid, last year Liverpool won it, so they're like, oh, we can't have this shit. We're becoming the joke club now out of the three of us, and that's where the problem comes. But I can see once again that it's their club. They're allowed to think what they want. Personally, it don't bother me if Man United have different owners or whatever. It's Man United fans; they can do whatever they want. We had some backlash from like our TikTok, the official Festival of Football podcast on TikTok. Follow us, guys, if you want. And we had Man United fans having a little, like a to and fro with us. But the problem is if we believe something, it's our opinion. If they believe something, it's their opinion. They can do whatever they want to get their owners out of the club. But I think opinions have to be based on two sides. You have to be able to see the other person's point of view. So what they should be doing right now is saying, you know what? We don't like them because of this. We want them out because of this. But they did do this. I think Man United possibly should get rid of them. Yeah, if I was a Man United fan, I probably would want them gone as well. But I can actually, from outside point of view, it's like anything. You take yourself out of the situation, you can see things more clearer. I can actually see what they have done as well. But it's just because the ball. But that's what football is now, man. Business is it's a business game now. It's all about money, and you're never gonna get rid of these people.
No,
And
it
if you get
is.
rid of one, you're gonna get another one that's just as bad.
And the thing is, today, do the Man United fans realistically believe that whoever takes over the club is going to wipe off the club's debt? It's not going to happen. And the thing is, I'd ask any Man United fan, if you were the Glazers back when they bought the club, and they said to you, this is your money that you have in your bank, and you can either have this money and have the asset in Man United, or you can just have Man United. What would you choose if it was your own personal money? I know what I would choose. I'd rather have the asset and the money. It makes sense. And that's what, like you said, football is now a business. It's not, people spending money willy-nilly. Look what happened to Leeds. They spent money they didn't have, and they spent 16 years in the Championship. And they was even in League One at a point. I mean, did Man United want to go down that road? I mean,
I think most Man United fans would go down just to get rid of him, mate.
yeah, and then that's the problem. It's that people have to understand that business works in a very different way now. Football clubs are a business. It's never going to change. Football's evolved as a sport. That's the way the world is now. And whoever comes in isn't going to wave a magic wand and say, I've got all this money, there goes your debt. They won't do it. If anything, they'll probably add more debt onto the club. But we can get, like I said before, we were talking about this over the weekend, we will get a leverage finance and debt finance expert on the pod for layman terms to actually go through the technicalities of the deal. And then we can explain to people this is why it had to happen that way. And I think once people understand that, they'll look and go, they didn't really have any other choice. But yeah, that's a discussion for the next pod.
Yeah, mate. I don't know. I just feel like I agree with the Man United fans because I just feel like if it was me and my club was in the mess that they're in, I would do whatever I could to get rid of the owners. Because at the end of the day, they'd rather be worse off without the owners than better off with them because they don't like them. And I get that because, I've been there with the West Ham owners. And I think that's what the problem is. But because we're from outside the club, we can look at it with more with our heads than our heart, And I believe that they should be doing more. The owners, they should be. It's Man United, for God's sake. They should be providing more and everything. But I can also put the argument across, that they have done things that haven't worked. They've just had the wrong people in charge. They've had Ed Woodward. He's a twat. What was it? He didn't want to bring. Who did Mourinho want? That defender that Mourinho wanted, and he said no.
It was Harry Maguire, wasn't it? He didn't want to buy. Mourinho asked him for money for Maguire, and he didn't want to buy him because they had Lindelof and Smalling and Jones and Bailly.
Yeah.
And then obviously they bit the bullet and bought him a couple of seasons later, or a season later, after Mourinho had gone.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, I can't say, we can't really make comment on the fans and their passion because it's their team, and it is great to see that the fans are coming together, to get rid of these, greedy owners. Because if they didn't do this European Super League thing, do I think it would have been as big as it is? No. I think it's because they've done this European Super League and everyone can see what these owners are about. But deep down, we all knew what these owners are about. Every owner's. Daniel Levy's just like it. David Sullivan's just like it. They just want money, and that's all it is. They make out they care about football, they care about the cause. They don't.
They don't.
I mean, even this Arsenal guy that's going to come in, the Spotify one.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me, yeah, he's only going to come in because he loves Arsenal. He's saying all the right things. Ultimately, it's about money. The players, it's about money. Football, it's just about money now. Kevin De Bruyne is on 400 grand a week, mate. 400 grand a week. I will never earn 400 grand in my lifetime. De Bruyne is on 400 grand a week. That is ridiculous for kicking a ball around. I saw a picture online. It says Kevin De Bruyne 400 grand a week. midwives or nurses, whatever it was, £13 an hour. Like, what the fuck? The society is broken when you put it into that. I know there's a lot of money in football and everything else, but still, honestly, I don't know. I think the Man United fans were wrong for not even so much breaking into the stadium, right? I get why they wanted to get in the stadium. It's what they did in the stadium that, for me, went too far. The power of getting on the pitch. Yeah, if you just got on the pitch, held up banners, and that was it. But going all around the offices, doing all that shit, jumping around, throwing things at people, Graham Souness, if that beer can hit you in the wrong way, you could have bled to death. Like, I mean, a bit dramatic there, old Graham's son, but still.
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not. I mean, technically, if it did hit you in the right place, it probably could kill you. But yeah, it's a bit OTT, isn't it? And yeah, like
He
you
just
said,
had to get one he had to get one at Man United.
yeah. Well, it's Graham Souness, isn't it? He's got an agenda against Man United, and he being a Liverpool legend, and whatever else. But yeah, I think obviously you don't condone the violence. Let them protest. Do I think it personally will achieve anything? No, because
But it's their prerogative, though, Bill. Do you know what I mean? Like, if Tottenham fans thought, selling Harry Kane is the worst thing in the world, and then they decided to protest and, do everything to stop Harry Kane leaving, standing outside his house so he can never leave. Like, if Tottenham fans decided to do that, as much as we'd think it's stupid, even though you're a Tottenham fan, that's up to them, mate.
yeah,
As long as I live life in this principle, as long as you don't hurt or break the law or impact anyone else, do whatever you want in life, mate. Do whatever you want.
yeah, and I just think the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again. And United fans have protested for a number of years, and it's changed nothing. And if they want to protest again, if they want to protest every day, that's fine. It's just I don't think it'll achieve. My personal opinion is it won't achieve anything. And we'll probably be talking in a couple of years' time about another United protest against the Glazers. So
yeah, well, just so you know, Man United fans, I agree that you should protest. Billy's the one that doesn't. Just so you all don't get on my back about it. But do you think they deserve a points deduction?
20 points.
20 points.
20 points. Because the thing is, if they don't punish them, let's just say, for example,
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen on Thursday with Arsenal. Arsenal fans are gonna try and get on the pitch, definitely.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're then setting a precedent to say, in a tough game, let's just say, for argument's sake, Tottenham need to go to Everton to win, to get into Europe next season or whatever it is, as a theoretical. But we've got Kane injured, we've got Son injured, we've got Lloris is injured, and Ndombele suspended. And then as a fan, you think, do you know what? If we break into the stadium, throw some bottles at police officers, we get that game cancelled, the players are suddenly back, and we stand a better chance.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Now people will start thinking, and I think if they don't punish it massively, then we'll see more and more of this. And I think a 20-point deduction will take them out of the European spaces, and it will say to them, look, what you've done is wrong.
Tottenham more of a chance.
It does, yeah. It does. And West Ham, to be fair, as well. But I think fining them money is pointless, because we've mentioned it before. Owners have deep pockets. If they fine them £1 million, what's that? Nothing. If they give them a points deduction and they're not in Europe next season, you're punishing the fans for the fans breaking the law. So I think it's adequate.
Yeah, I mean, this is more probably, this point deduction for this is probably more of a punishment that suits the crime more than the Super League thing, because obviously the fans didn't want that. So punishing them with a points deduction for that was quite unfair, because obviously they didn't want it. But they knew what they did. I think the only reason why the game got called off was because it broke COVID protocols, because they went all around the stadium, and apparently they got in the dressing room, even though Man United said they didn't. They were all in the upstairs offices, mate. So if they got in them offices, they got in the stadium, got in the dressing rooms. You couldn't then allow two sets of teams to go into there where there's COVID risk, and then they go wherever they go, and it spreads all around. Even though, as you said earlier, it looks like we've got the light at the end of the tunnel. Off football related, Boris Johnson said that there might not be any social distancing on the 21st of June from then, hopefully. which would be great because then you can actually. I was going to say something then. I was going to say then you can actually start touching people, but it was going to come out the wrong way. I don't mean it that way, but you know what I meant. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. A point deduction. I don't know. I think maybe banning fans from the stadium when they're actually allowed to go back again to punish them. That might be more of a punishment that suits the crime because they'll be like, oh, we can go back to games. Oh no, we can't because we broke fucking laws when we broke in the stadium and injured the guy's face. And I don't know, mate. It's just, the minority of people that do these stupid things ruin it for the majority of people all the time. I'm a West Ham fan, as everyone knows, and I hate majority of West Ham fans because of what they fucking do. They do stupid things. I've seen so many things over the years, and I think you twat. It just annoys me. And they're West Ham fans, and I honestly, it is what it is, mate. But
You've been listening to the Festival of Football podcast, presented by Henry Berrett and Billy Harvey. We'll see you on the next one.